Can we be frank? Can we be frank? Can we be frank? Can we be frank? Can we be frank?
Hi, everyone, and welcome to Can We Be Frank, where the whiskey may be on ice, but the talk is always neat. Familiar faces would be myself, Mike, and Robert. We have a new addition, Ruby. Ruby, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? Well, not tell us. We know who you are. Why don't you tell everybody that's watching or not watching this podcast a little bit about yourself?
That's an interesting one. Where do I start? I am the British voice that I guess people will hear. A little bit of accent gimmick to jazz things up. Um, uh, I
It
am
elevates
in
us. I'm sorry,
LA.
just the accent alone
Is
Yeah.
that what it is?
will
I
elevate the
also
podcast.
I
Yes.
was
It
thinking
makes
about
us
this
feel
and
very regal.
the ask I was very happy to be asked to join you guys, and I feel like this is a way to send the podcast international because you'll at least get four people from the UK in my family that are gonna listen and
Look,
want to know. So
we'll have 8
this is
Yeah.
from the
amazing.
US, 4 in the UK.
There we go.
That was when I was in college. I did college radio, and we had about 5 listeners, and 3 of them were my family. So, I'm pretty
Nice.
used to that.
I believe they call that taking off. This is full
Yes.
expansion for season 2. We've
We've
gone
doubled our
overseas.
audience.
So we've doubled
Yes.
doubled the audience. That's pretty good.
Okay,
Yeah,
sorry.
good going, guys.
Go on, Ruby.
Yes.
This is the bit you're gonna have to cut out, Derek, because I actually don't know what to say.
Well,
What
tell
kind
us
of
a little
things
bit
do
about
you
your
want me to
background,
say?
Yeah, tell us about yourself.
where you work, what you do.
I am currently in LA in working for Warner Brothers Discovery, as we currently are. Have been with the company for 14 years. That's and had the blessing of working in 3 continents with that company. Started very, very young and green in London, and that took me over to Singapore, where I was based for just over 5 years, and then I've been in sunny California for coming up to 3 years.
Nice.
Talk about your
And what do
sorry, Robert. Talk about your
Yeah.
trajectory of the career, like when you started to where you are now. Like, how did that all happen, Ruby?
I started very scrappy as a Christmas temp. Came in to help an operations team manage a ridiculous amount of tapes when the commercials were overflowing in the lead up to Christmas. Very much didn't know much about the industry other than like to watch TV. And met a great team. Ended up taking the opportunity, not really with much intention, but I was around great people. I learned a lot, had a very good set of people that were generous with their time and their knowledge to match my curiosity. So came through the operation from Christmas temp to coordinator in media operations, and have always been very, I'll call it curious, like pretty annoying with asking why things are done a certain way, which took me from the operation itself into more of a process improvement type role. And going over to Asia was part of bringing the different region in line with what we were doing in EMEA. But I think a big part of the learning is just that genuinely wanting things to be better, wanting people's work experience to be better. I also enjoy the tech side of what we do in our media industry. So I've managed to partner, I guess, with a lot of people throughout the company that I wouldn't necessarily work with, just learning about the different areas, bringing that into then what I do. And we've gone through obviously various mergers and acquisitions as a company. And I think being become part of like a specialized generalist, know a lot about a lot of different areas, but nothing too specific. Becoming, I guess, just a partner for a lot of the teams, like a sounding board, and then trying to figure out how to solve some of their problems. Coming over to America was part of not working till 2 o'clock in the morning from Singapore, which definitely ran its course. But also being around some really key stakeholders where the action happens and trying to help as much as possible, as far up the stream as I can with what we do to create content. So it's been a big learning curve, big cultural learning curve as well, going from tiny village in the south of England to working in London and doing my 3 hour commute. Living in Singapore, very, very different work culture, and yeah, now being in the thick of it on the West Coast. But it's been a journey for sure.
Right.
Nice. You worked your way up.
And around the
From
world too.
Temp?
That's
Yeah, work my way
So,
around
so,
for sure.
so you originally, I'm sorry, I'm playing with my gallery here. So you originally started as a temp and you thought it would just last, what, a few weeks? Like, what was the original?
Yeah, it was a 6 week, all hands on deck.
6 weeks.
I would go up to the post room multiple times a day, pick up a bucket of commercials on their digibeaters, and it was really just meant to be plug a hole, fill a gap. Commercials obviously pick up a lot around Christmas time, and they wanted someone to come in and do the work that no one else wanted to do. And but it was great. I loved it. I had never been in that office environment before. I was 19. It was exciting to commute up to London and be in Soho, and such a different experience. It's funny with the idea of accents as well. I was a couple of weeks into that 6 week temp job. I remember like declaring to my team how cool it was that they all had such good accents. They were from different parts of the UK, and I learned on that day that I also have an accent. And I did not know that until that day, which is as silly as it is. Like, it's real small town vibes.
Yeah.
Then like,
Unlike
felt
us
like,
Americans who don't have
yeah, I mean,
accents.
Americans definitely are like, well, you're from Europe somewhere, so again, accent gimmick. I'm here for it.
What I
Yeah, the
love,
6 weeks. Oh, sorry,
what,
Robert.
and I was going to say what I love about your story, Ruby, and we've talked about it before, is there tends to be, I think, more so now than ever. I think it always used to be kind of a stigma around like what your first job is. A lot of times people feel like, oh, it's too good for me, or I went to university and spent, $200,000 to be the best director, and they expect, film deals, studio deals on the way out, and they're offered, PA job, a receptionist job, and they turn their nose up at it. And then meanwhile, years go by, a decade goes by, and they're still not getting that offer they feel like they so much deserve because they paid for an education. Am I frozen?
Yes.
you are freezing a little bit,
I
yeah.
was worried
Let
that
me unfreeze. It might be my internet. But anyways, I love that. Here's the thing. You took a temp job and here you are over a decade later. You've been through different divisions of Warner Brothers. You're still at the same studio. You're now in the heart of it all in Hollywood. That's a real success story. I love it.
Yeah, it's funny, the people that I've met, and full respect and credit to people that have enough interest in something to want to go and study it. That definitely wasn't me. I didn't think I enjoyed anything enough to go and spend 3 years, which just was the degree time, to dedicate to it, and falling into this and just generally loving what we do and wanting it to be a better experience for people at work and like more productive. I've met a lot of people that really have gone through the full education system, and then they come in and are sometimes a bit put off by being trained by someone that was like 15 years younger than them or 10 years younger than them, and they want that entry in. It's a strange one, because people that come into this industry because they have a passion for it, I feel like sometimes thrive. And I've have the opposite, have a huge respect for it, but didn't have the learnings of it. So I learned on the job, and it's very different
Yeah.
culture, I think, to now, where a lot of people have so much conceptual education about how things should work or do work, and there's business sides of it, and there's the technical and like production and creation. But I think the actual just hands-on experience of being in the industry in any capacity is always so much more valuable. But yeah, it's a really good point, Rob, actually, around some people that would feel like they can't come into those entry-level jobs because they've had the weight of education.
Right.
It's a shame. It's a shame, because
It
there's so much
is.
to learn in any opportunity, right?
And I think we're seeing it on the creative side as well now. When you look at something like this past weekend Backrooms or the weekend before that Obsession, these are guys that just did
Yeah.
it. The Backrooms director is 20. Like he just started making films on YouTube, right? When he was as a teenager. Like he did not have to go through the formal education, be taught how it's done. Here's the books on it. Here's you rent out your equipment and you can make a couple of student films. He just went out and did it, and kind of forged his own path, as did the director of Obsession. But I think people are starting to realize that they can kind of take that route rather than having to, I think of all, and I went that route. I went the formal education way. I went to USC production of cinema television. To have that money and to have made a film or films with it, I think would have been more productive.
Mm.
I was gonna say, do you regret?
Yeah.
Do you regret that?
Oh, I do. I do. I think my parents probably would regret it more because they paid for it. But I had told them that before, like, if I would have known then what I know now, because there really wasn't anything, and that was then. It's pre-internet. So even without the internet, I thought there's nothing I learned in film school I could not have learned either by, at the time, reading books
Mhm.
or by applying, just making films. Spielberg didn't go to film school, right? He went to Long Beach, but for a couple of years, he didn't need it. He just made films in Super 8, 16 millimeter. Like it is more about doing than I think learning.
Yeah.
And like you were saying, even on the technical side, by the time you learn something, it's changing.
Yeah.
So I don't know what they're teaching in colleges, because by the time you get out, it's all different anyways. So you might as
Yeah.
well just be in it and learning it. So
I think one of the observations I've had definitely since being in the States, especially since being in the States, is there's some things you can't teach. And a lot of that is
this is
around
true.
how you engage with people and how you partner with people and how you understand where someone's coming from and things that are driving them. And that learning that from the ground up, you have a different level of respect for all different areas of what goes into producing content. I think that's a big miss with like the soft skills, hard skills. Like you can be really good, you could perfect like knowing how to edit something, but if you can't communicate with somebody on their vision and there's not like a real understanding of storytelling, there's just a very different approach to people in the industry. I think as well it's funny, the idea of people coming in straight from school or from an education and expecting there's like an entitlement, right? For like I've put hours and time and money and investment behind this thing.
Right.
One of the first like big conversations with one of the leaders at our company when I moved to the States was around filmmaking, and it was like, how can people break into it? And the answer from that leadership was just do it. If you
Mhm.
and it was an encouragement to make movies, shoot it with your friends. It doesn't matter what you're shooting on. Shoot on an iPhone. The camera quality on some of the phones today are incredible.
It's insane.
It's
Just do
wild.
it and make it and show it and tell your stories. And
It's
that's
like,
what gets
don't
picked
ask
up.
permission. Yeah.
100%.
There's no
Yeah.
way, and I haven't seen it, but I can tell you without seeing it, just from what I have seen, there's no way Backrooms would have ever, ever, ever in a million years gone through development in the studio system and been made. It just wouldn't. There's just nothing about it that I think speaks to the big studio sensibility. So it kind of took someone on, and I watched the short films. I had heard of it and knew there was kind of this cult following that has 82 million views on the short film.
Hmm.
But even it's just the fact that they kind of took it and did their own thing and ventured not to ask permission and not go the traditional route, not hear the naysayers, is what actually gets them in with the studio. Because once you have 82 million views, then they're going to pay attention
It's crazy.
and say,
Yeah.
well, what's our investment? What's the risk factor? Well, it's much lower because we've got a built-in audience, and obviously beyond that, is it open so big, north of what, 110 million or something.
It's interesting with like social media, and I actually don't have TikTok. I have never downloaded it because I know that I will spend far too much of my time sat there scrolling. But I think the access to people is so different now than it ever has been. If you're creating content and want to make a movie or a concept or something, to be able to reach an audience is so instant that is very
hmm
different to the more traditional way of getting, like you say, investment and sponsorship. And
Yes,
it's really cool to see those films do so well from taking that route.
it is. It is.
Yeah, I think
So there. Oh, sorry, Mike. Go on.
I was just going to say, I think it's so interesting with social media today, as far as like switching that on its head. It's like these smaller creators are able to get out there and get the exposure that they need and want by being on TikTok Live or on Instagram or any social platform now. And they're able to, kind of, I know some small creators, for example, who have 20,000 followers, so nothing like the 10 million or a million, even a million followers, and they're making super good livings, $20,000 a month from appearing on live and building up this dedicated fan base. And it's just fascinating to me that we're living in that kind of world today where that's a possibility. And I think we talk about the bad of social media, and there's a lot of bad things that happen in social media and it consumes us and all of that. But I think there's a lot of good too, in the sense that these creators are able to get out there, reach their audience. And I think the successful ones, at least in my opinion, are the ones who are able to weed out the people that don't align to their values and vision and what they want to grow creatively. And they're, get out of here. I don't need you. They're able to really focus in and just keep the people who are super dedicated. And when they do that, I think they're able to really build a super dedicated audience that will support them in anything that they do, which is really cool. And I think that's kind of a shift that we're in right now in entertainment overall, because entertainment is social media today. How much time do we spend scrolling through whatever platform that we're on, right? I'm addicted to TikTok lately, and it's a good and a bad thing. I love it as a kind of a discovery tool. I love it, like looking and identifying and finding new talent on there. And I'm like, these people there's so much talent out there. There's just so much talent out there, and just finding them and seeing what they're doing and how they're trying to navigate that system to make something. And it's cool to see a platform out there that can give them, if they do dedicate it and do the time that they put the time in to really build their dedicated their dedicated audience without knowing that they need to make that million level, which feels out of reach, right? Like, I think if you just focus on 5,000 and then 10,000 and then 15 and 20,000, just focusing on that and getting people to rally around you and your vision, I think that just continues to elevate you and elevate your vision and what you want to have happen. I think it's a lot more possible today, which is exciting from
Yeah.
that
And
standpoint.
that's a great point because the studios there's so much overhead. It's such a behemoth that 25,000 viewers to them. That doesn't even cover craft service. I
Sure.
mean, it's just they have such a high kind of above the line cost that they're trying to maintain. But what's great about the individual creators is, like you're saying, the money they can make as a creator. Then if you have a niche audience who are, like you're saying, dedicated and they really appreciate your art and what you're bringing to the table, and they're making tens of thousands of dollars a month for one individual that can grow and grow. That's where sticking with it, over years and building a bigger audience. Whereas the studios, they just can't do it.
Mhm.
Which it's not faulting them, so
Well,
they've got to go for the Marvel films, and I think
wait,
unless you get a backrooms, right, or
Mhm.
something.
so what you're saying is people, I think, need to shift their thinking into maybe my goal shouldn't be the major studio film. You don't need to do that because if you're going to do that, it needs to be super commercial, super because they need to recover all those costs. I think um I guess my question is should the studios shift their thinking or should the people shift their thinking and going they're just two separate routes
Mm.
and we
Well,
have
that's
the
a great
ability
question.
to consume two different types of media now.
I that exact question I was pondering, and I think it's both,
Mhm.
because my fear
Agree.
is what the studios are going to do now, because they're always all in. They go all like, oh, this 20-year-old backrooms guy made us a hit. All we're going to do now is find YouTube
Hmm.
creators and give them movies to make, and then you're just going to have a bunch of crap because it's not that easy. Whether it's YouTube or a feature film, it's that individual's incredibly talented. Individual who did Obsession, right, and had done all those skits and things before that, incredibly talented. It it's still one in a million, right? Like you
Hmm.
can't just start mining YouTube and feel like. But that's my fear with the studios, Derek. It's kind of like what they did with my beloved Star Wars, right? It's they just, diluted. Oh, Star Wars makes a lot of money. Well, we'll do a million series and we'll spin off a million characters and we'll have, and it just becomes this utter garbage that
I can't
no
even
one
keep
wants to
track of
see.
it.
I
I'm
can't
sure.
either, and I had Star Wars wallpaper as a kid. So, like, this is if I'm out, like, you're losing your. I mean, not that I'm obviously they want to get the younger audience, but I don't think they're capturing anybody. It's becoming too diluted. But to your point, I think you're right. Also, the creators need to say, well, do I need to obtain a studio deal? Isn't your ultimate goal? I don't think it was the guys who were doing the YouTube videos. They were just doing their thing, making their movies, and were appreciative of the audience they had. Then this opportunity came along, and that's huge, and it's great that it did well. But yeah, I think you're right
I
on
think
both
there's part
ways.
of it, like the idea of it's almost like letting the audience speak for itself. The
Mm.
more niche you are, it's the same in a lot of business, right? The more niche you are, the more of a specific audience you have. It's a different perspective from how like studios all it's a reach thing. It's trying to get as much as possible to your point, Derek, it's about like regaining some of that value that's been spent and invested. But the smaller niche, if people are making something that they enjoy, they're going to find people that enjoy watching it because there's always a connection between the audience. Like it's very much the audience is speaking for itself in what it's engaging with, especially on like the more anti-social media platforms. But I also think like this goes to storytelling and it goes to creating content of any sorts, but people are making an absolute killing from little videos of their dogs. Like I feel like
Mhm.
there's another world for me out there with Kobe. She's so cute. Like people are these like pet influencers. There's a line I think between the like what people are putting out there to your point, Robert, around is it actually any good? But that's so subjective. And there I think
Yes.
there's a lot of people in the world that would want to watch different kinds of content, and that maybe there's a space for that where it doesn't need like hundreds of millions of dollars of investment to reach everybody for the type of thing that they want to watch. It's an exciting time though, the access to people and tools that are cheap enough, right, to actually make content that people enjoy.
Yeah,
It's
that's what I
exciting to
think
see where it goes.
is the value of like a TikTok and an Instagram, right? It's like we're able to fine tune the audience that we are building. And so, whereas before social media, it was TV, movies, and like, so that the studios were built around that model of like, we have to cater to the masses. Of course, they wanted to make the most money and by reaching the most people. And today we have the ability of millions of people every day, billions of people probably consuming social media. And everybody's algorithm is different because everybody's watching some different segment. And I think you can put not as much money behind them, but a little bit of money behind them to see what that drill down audience is, what that niche market is. To your point, Ruby, is like we can serve more of these niches with higher quality content at a much cheaper rate. So I think it totally explodes what the model of a traditional studio is looking at. I think that's if you're looking forward as a big studio, no matter what studio you are, I think that's what you should be looking at is like let's find these creators that are out there that are doing really high quality, good stuff that are talented. And how do we tap into them to elevate them and make them better without spending the $500 million that we need to create the next big Marvel movie? You don't you need a small, tiny fraction of that money to elevate a bunch of small creators. But I think at the end of the day, you're elevating their vision and helping them grow and reach more of their target audience to grow their audience and get them the tools and the things that they need to keep sharing what they're doing and growing what they're doing. And you don't need to put all of that money and spending behind it to grow the next big franchise out of that. I think you can do that with so many of these creators that are already out there and already doing such quality things, and they're doing it on a shoestring budget. Imagine what they could do with even just, I go and I give $50 as TikTok gifts, and these creators are just blown away. They're like, oh my God, this is amazing. So imagine if you had somebody come in and be like, hey, we'll give you $5,000 to fuel what you're doing. They'd be like, oh my gosh, I can do so much with that. Which is just such a drop in the bucket for for big studios or big businesses that have the financing to be able to do that. I think there's a lot of excitement around that, and I hope there's some consideration around kind of elevating that and looking into that as kind of the front end of the pipeline of like this is kind of the avenue into getting musicians, directors, photographers. I mean, there's so many different creators out there. It's great. Every time I scroll my feed, I'm so inspired by there's a lot of not good stuff, but there's a lot of really good stuff as well.
Yeah, I
Well,
think it's
that's
a
true.
nice.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's a nice
Go on.
a nice thought for the different creative, passionate people that want to do their thing. They want to make music, they want to make film, they want to act, whatever it is, to not have that barrier. They can do that, and then the ability to monetize that on a platform that you can sit on your phone. That's amazing from a understanding that creative perspective. The fact that you have access to make money off of something that you love to do, is that not the dream? I don't know if it's quite the American dream, but it's the dream of a lot of people in America, for sure.
It is. It is. Derek, do we have a topic, or are we just winging it? Or are we just going free form?
The topic was a little bit about that, but also just did Hollywood run out of ideas? Was our first thought, but kind of feeds into this in the sense
does.
that are they? You brought it up. They're only making remakes and things they know they can make money on because they have to recoup these huge costs, I think. Because of social media, is it not worth them to invest in new unique ideas and original ideas as much because they can be developed on these other smaller platforms by individual creators? And so they focus on what they know they can make the big bucks on.
It's an interesting question. I think that's changed this weekend. I do think this weekend's going to have a big ripple effect just because the two films, Obsession and Back Rooms, is that what it's called? Kind of knocked out Groku and whatever it is, Mandalorian. That cost $200 million or whatever it was. You could make literally 200 back rooms for one Groku, So, but I do think there's gonna, like you're saying, Mike, like an incubator. If the studios have like an incubator where they're going to invest in talent and kind of saw what grew and what didn't, they're always going to make big studio pictures. But we have this thing with my other writer friends, Trish and Steve, that it's called stuck culture. You're kind of stuck. There's no new ideas. I just saw they're remaking Escape from New York.
Oh,
why? It was a perfect movie. Stop it. But all these remakes and now with the multiverse timeline, so nothing sticks. Like anything you see could change completely by the time you see it again. When we saw it with the Halloween movies, there's like 3 versions of it, and to me it gets so sloppy and messy, and there's timelines everywhere, and nothing's what it seems, and so you're not really invested as an audience because this person could die but be resurrected in the next one. So I do think there's a dearth of original ideas. I'm the pessimist in the Zoom.
I think the idea of there not being enough originality and sort of, I can't see a world where that's true, based off of what we were just talking about and the amount of different ideas that people have. And it's a sort of fine line to tread between wanting to capitalize on a franchise and loyal fans to then actually trying to approach that niche target audience and have a truly new story. I think it's just how you get there and those that 1% that you were talking about, Robert, and how that can actually blow up.
Yeah,
there isn't a lack of originality in what people want to produce, but there's such a small
correct
funnel to entry for that to be big enough to become a franchise.
Well, that's the problem. The studios were much more open in the 70s and the 80s to original ideas. There wasn't as many, the sequel kind of Star Wars and all those, kind of begat the sequels. But before then, there wasn't a ton of sequels, and the studios were more willing to take risks on original ideas. I totally agree. There's no lack of originality. I mean, just the writers I know have 10, 15 screenplays that are original and amazing. It's the studios. They're now, it's such a corporation. I mean, it was always money driven, but now it's all about algorithms and data that they acquire from streaming services, where people check in, where people check out, who's watching, who's not. It becomes so analytical that I think they don't leave a lot of room for just listening to their intuition as to what makes a good story, what people might want to see or not want to see.
And it's so interesting when you talk about analytics, Robert, because I think it's like, well, yeah, just because they maybe this first glance checked out in the first 3 minutes, but you see films and you see shows that catch on years later and become cult classics that didn't have that type of analytics. So it's like, I wouldn't write something off just because the analytics say at this moment in time, like, this is a lasting asset, this is a lasting creation. Like,
Right.
don't look at it as something that's a failure just because it doesn't do necessarily as well as you thought at that particular marker that you're looking. We need so many views within the first minute or 3 minutes or whatever that is. It's like this is something that could be something much bigger than what you're thinking.
And where
I
they
hope I
do
don't
tend to
feed
take,
into the. Oh, sorry,
no, no, go
I was
ahead.
going to say, I hope I don't feed into those analytics because I would rewatch the same thing as soon as it finished. I think there's so much like comfort in familiarity, and I wonder if where there's so much going on, not to make this political or anything, but like the point in time we are, there is a calmness of being able to understand the story, know what's happening, and watch something based off of that, like reinvent the similar ideas. So I do, again, from an audience perspective, maybe that's a intentional thing, or is it just cashing in on something that did well before and you kind of want to rejuvenate it? It
I think
depends on.
that's where the studio's coming from. I think psychologically, you're right. From a viewer's point of view, white people tend to rewatch things that are comfortable. It's kind of like comfort food to them.
Yeah.
Uh, I like that where the studios tend to take the risk in original ideas is in horror because it is cheaper. So, to me, Obsession and Backrooms is great, but they tend to take those risks anyway in the genre. I wish and I can't think of the last non-horror genre film that was wholly original that did well, or that they produced that did well.
Well,
I mean,
like depends
maybe
what you're talking
Barbie.
about.
I don't-
What about something like Inception? I thought that was fairly
yes. Well,
original.
that's what I'm saying. And
Yeah.
when was that? What
Oh,
year
it was a
was that?
while
That
ago now.
was
I'm getting old. So yeah, that was
But
a long
yeah.
that's
time
the
ago
one.
now.
I remember walking out of the theater saying, it's original. Like I almost don't care that I don't understand it. It's original. It just felt so good to see something new and fresh. Um, but yeah, Inception. Like I'm trying to think what else. That's not a sequel or an IP or that's not horror.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Why do you
There's
think
tons.
horror has that? What is it about horror that makes those
Uh,
original movies so, I guess, consumable?
I think it's well, yeah. There's uh, two different ways to approach that question. One is why do the studios keep making them original versions? And I think it is because they're cheap. Backrooms was, I think, 750 budget. Obsession was maybe $1 million. I mean, you can make them very cheaply, or even at 10 million, or it's a cheap film. That's I think why the studios do it. I think as a viewer, why it's such a popular genre. I just people like to be scared. They like to escape. Even because you're scared enough in your real life, this gives you something else that's kind of the boogeyman that doesn't exist that you can. And it's usually reflective of what's happening in society to some degree. I don't know what
Yeah.
Backwards is. I watched the short. I know I'm absolutely not the demographic, so I don't quite get it. Just I don't get it. I have to see the movie. But often, obviously, there's something about that being like lost in an infinite bunch of yellow rooms with a creepy thing. It's kind of reminds me when I was probably in my 20s. There was the Blair Witch Project. That's what it kind of reminded
Yeah.
me of.
Mm.
Found footage and creepy thing, and you don't really see anything, and it doesn't really make a lot of sense in the end. But again, I think it taps into some primal fear, particularly in the young demo
Hmm.
that they're feeling. I don't know. And they go
Funny.
see movies.
Psychologically, it's probably similar to me saying I'll sit and watch a film that I like that I've seen 100 times. for that
Yeah,
almost like detachment for everything that's going on. Maybe horror is that similar kind of
totally.
genre in the total opposite way, but for this similar reason.
Yes, I
Yeah.
agree. You get that dopamine, that adrenaline hit, and then you're safe, you're fine. I think Obsession is a different story. I think that was very smart in the concept because everybody's had that feeling of liking someone and wishing they liked you as much as you like them. They're
Hmm.
just not interested. I wish you were obsessed with me the way I'm obsessed with you. I mean, there was a film called Love Potion Number 9 when I was a teenager, right? And it was it was a comedy though. And,
Hmm.
and he creates this potion like in his high school science lab class in physics, where he puts on this potion. And now the woman he's infatuated with is infatuated with him. And now he's like, whoa, well, hold on. It's the comedic version. So
Hmm.
to take that, and then that did very well at the box office in the comedy. So it makes sense it would do very well as horror because it is taking your wish fulfillment and then whoops, be careful what you wish for. I mean, it's kind of that old adage. But
Yeah, both of those films are just killing it right now. Everybody's
oh
talking
my God.
about them. It's crazy.
And well, I have
Yeah.
a question as a person who writes horror, several. Why is horror so cheap to produce and make? Is it just
Uh,
because you can
well,
do scares easily without?
I think you don't have to cast it. It doesn't have to have it's. I think it works in your favor if they're unknown
Sure,
cast. Again, Backroom's Obsession, largely unknown people, at least not to
because
the obvious to the
because you're more
fans, but to
focused.
anyone.
You're more focused on the scare than a big name,
Yeah,
person.
Well,
I
so
Right?
you,
know, I
you
know.
kill everyone off, so you don't need to
That's
pay them as
true.
much. They're
Yeah,
not in the
Everybody
movie all of a
dies.
that
sudden.
too.
Yes, exactly. And that's what was so great about Scream is at the time Drew Barrymore was huge, right? So that was the brilliance of that. You thought she'd be in the whole movie, and she's killed off in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But But ideally, I think that lowers your costs, and I think it helps the film just because it seems more real. You're not saying, "Oh, I saw Leonardo DiCaprio and Titanic. Now he's in Shutter Island or whatever." I think you could do it limited sets. There's not a lot. Like it's
Mm,
pretty practical. You don't have to get way out. There's the effects you can either do practically or a lot of it's just in the shadows, in the dark. A lot of music things.
mm.
It's a lot of trickery. You could do it down and dirty, and I don't think anybody cares if it's effective and scary and it has a decent story.
Hmm.
It's just I think it's a lot. Rom-coms could be made cheaply, but they just don't have the same return.
Hmm.
Mm.
We need less
Because
rom-coms in the world.
we need less.
Less rom-coms. Come on. Yeah, Mike knows this. Just there needs to be
I think we need more,
something more
Ruby.
than do we?
I think we need more. This is why you're so depressed about the world.
It's probably true. It's the predictability of it. I think it's kind of speaking to the idea of just remaking the same movie.
Well,
It's
that's
the
what's interesting
cheesiness.
because uh, who was I having this conversation with? Um, it might have been on this other project I'm doing, and we were talking about predictability of it. Every movie is though, for the most part, like a horror movie, you pretty much know your protagonist is going to survive, and the bad guy is going to die in the end. It's more about the ride and less like more about the journey than the destination. Like they're all predictable. Some people enjoy the predictability of a horror movie. Some more so of the rom-com. Some more so of the drama. I don't know.
Yeah,
Well,
to be fair, here's the living hypocrisy I live in because I'm saying I'll watch the same film 100 times, but I don't like the predictability of a rom-com.
Yes.
I think part of it is the same like skinny blonde American just having like a bit of a bad time and then deciding that she's now in love. It's the lack of relatability, I think, in some rom-coms, but when there's actually like a
Right.
bit of grit or a bit of real
Yeah.
character
What's
to the
your
people in
favorite?
it,
If you
then
had
I'm
to
all for
say
it.
one. I
Wh-
mean,
Can
you're
you guys
talking
go
Hallmark.
first?
yeah.
So
What rom com could you live with?
yeah.
I could do Notting Hill, Bridget Jones's
Yeah.
Diary. Is that a thing here? Have you heard of
Okay.
that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, Hugh Grant.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and then if I need a good cry, like The Notebook, sure.
Yeah.
Just a one-off. Do you guys have a favorite rom-com? Is this a
I
thing?
like The Notebook. I like Actually.
I was gonna say Love Actually is one
Actually
of
is
my
great.
favorite
Well, I mean,
movies.
don't get me started on Christmas films. Any Christmas film is a good
Like Die
idea.
Hard?
Oh, anything. Yeah, we've got a list. We rank them up just before
I mean,
Christmas, tick them off the
recently I
list.
thought Anyone But You was fun. I enjoyed that one. It's
Hmm.
cute.
I haven't seen that one.
It's
So
fairly
added to the
recent.
list.
It was Netflix. It was who's the one? Sydney Sweeney and who's the guy?
Glenn Powell
Glenn Powell. It's cute.
is the
Okay.
guy.
Okay.
Not predictable. I mean, yes, Ruby. I mean, they get together. Okay, we know that's what we want. Predictable in that way, but not. Like there was some fun little
Listen to her.
diversions.
Yeah,
Uh,
I
no
like
hard.
Friends with Benefits was really good with
I don't think I
Mila
saw that.
Kunis and was it Mila Kunis and
Justin Timberlake.
yes, I
See,
really
I have
liked that. I
that.
thought
It's true.
Yeah,
again,
it was really good.
Oh.
And then the other movie that was exactly like it was
Yeah.
what
that's why I was
Natalie
mixing the
Portman
two.
and Ashton Kutcher, right?
Yes.
Isn't that those two? Yeah.
Which is ironic that
Oh.
Mila Kunis and Ashton Kutcher are married, but yes,
He
because I was
was
getting
like,
What's
it's my
the one-
turn now.
What's the one everybody loves and I haven't seen? 100 Days or something, or 100?
500 Days of
Oh,
Summer.
you haven't seen 500 Days
500
of Summer?
no.
Okay.
I like that one too. That's a good
Okay.
one. But he
I hear
doesn't.
that's a good one.
I don't. Spoiler alert. He doesn't get that girl in the end.
Yeah.
Although I just told you now. Shit. Now you're not going to watch it. But
It's the reverse of a so it was that
Yeah.
was kind of original. That was really good. I thought you would like
it's trippy to watch though too because it's not in chronological order.
Right.
Yeah,
So you
you
need
should.
But it won't confuse me. Like Memento, I still don't know.
No,
I
they're
watched.
very good about the on-screen because it's 500 days. It says the day, so you're really able to see where you are in the
Okay.
thing. Unless
It's
you're
good.
I'll watch it.
That is
I'll
a
watch
good
it.
one. That is a
Yeah.
really good one. Yes, and Joseph Gordon-Levitt from
Yep.
H2O.
Yeah,
Let's go.
that's right. Let's do it. All right. So what were we before we got diverted? Wanted to ban all rom-coms.
Sorry,
Oh,
Ruben were
the,
president, there would be no rom-coms allowed.
as long as
I
we
want a
don't
rom-com-
as
I
long
want
as
the
we don't
rom-com with
ban
originality.
as long as we don't ban off campus, it's fine. I love that show. So
Is that a
um,
rom-com?
the college I don't know what you classify.
Rom-com series. Yeah. it
Yeah,
was-
rom-com series, college,
Barbara.
young.
That's
I'm-
the only thing worse than a rom-com movie.
Well, but you
It's a
talked
rom-com
True.
series.
you talked earlier though. It's not my demographic. Shouldn't be my demographic either, but I don't know if it makes me feel younger, what I find the appeal of it. Like
Yeah. Probably
nostalgia.
captures that time. Yeah, nostalgia.
And
sure.
I've read that a lot of people make the feeling, the way they filmed it feels a lot like Dawson's Creek, which was relevant during my time in that age. So if you can feel that nostalgia, you're drawn to it. Yeah. So, I mean, demographics are, I guess they're important, but you never know who's going to be your audience.
Nostalgia's a really.
It's crazy.
I think we missed that. I missed that thought earlier with why movies would be remade or why there's like continuations. There is a little bit of holding back to where you were when you first watched a movie, or I think that's actually quite a good way to connect with people. It's
Is ruining
What's the trailer
their
for?
memories of their
it's really
favorite movies.
It's making everyone believe that the best days are behind them. No, I'm kidding. That's
Right,
Robert,
exactly.
is there any
The
remake?
worst is yet to come.
yeah.
Have you seen?
Ruining your movies? No, Derek, there's not.
I was just saying, is
There's
there
no
any
remake.
that were better or equal on
Okay.
par?
One that I can
Okay.
think of? The Thing. I thought John Carpenter's The Thing
Mm.
was better than the 1939 or whatever it was. The
Oh.
Thing.
This is gonna also off base. The Parent Trap.
I was
thought
just thinking that. That's
the
only
Lindsay
thing I could think
Lohan
of.
version was very
But
good.
don't go saying
True.
don't you dare say Freaky Friday. Because the Jodie Foster Freaky Friday is still the best one.
Not that one, but the Parent Trap. I'll go to
Parent
bat
Trap.
for.
I agree with
Yeah,
you.
no, Parent Trap. I'm with you
I
with
thought that
Derek.
was a very good remake.
Not the Herbies, though. Sorry, the original 70s Herbies were better. the original Mary Poppins, although I love that actress who did the
I was just saying Emily
sequel.
Blunt's great, but I don't know that that was a smart move.
I mean, Dick Van Dyke, like, what? I don't know. I don't know. I have a question that when we're ready to wrap up, you know how we always do a question?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had one that I asked myself.
Yeah.
And I thought this would
Okay,
be a good
let's
question
go.
for the
We've been
group
talking for
because
a
we're
while.
all in different stages. Okay, so here's my question. Ready? You gotta be honest.
Mm.
Gotta be honest about this. You had to grade your career
Mm.
up until this point.
Mm.
So everything you've done up until this point, you're giving yourself grades, all your little projects, all your little jobs, all your things. Today you had to grade. What's your grade? I'm not saying this final grade. You're doing a check-in.
Oh,
What would you grade your career?
Hold on, can we need to align on what a grade is? Like you use a number,
Oh, that's
I'm
right.
sorry.
that's true.
letters,
Ah.
Oh,
like,
we do
let's-
we do
we need to
A,
standardize this.
A plus,
Okay.
B, B,
Okay.
B plus, B minus,
It's the
C,
same. It's
D,
the same.
F. Okay.
Okay. Just to double check, there's definitely some
I can go
differences.
first
Okay.
or last, but I'll go last. I don't want to taint the.
That is such a good. That is a
It's
great
right.
question.
I thought I'm going to honestly sit down and go. I mean, I've been around a lot longer than you guys, so I have a lot to go through. Like literally every year,
That
I'm
is
doing the grading every year basically and thing and
yeah. That
Are
is
you
a
grading based off of success or your
Well,
interpretation
that's a
of
great
success?
see, Ruby. See, that's
What's
the
success
thing.
is relative,
That's
I
the thing.
suppose.
Exactly.
It is relative. So I'm going by a little bit of that, a little bit of like what's considered success as far as whatever box office or that, but more my satisfaction with something. So let's say I thought something was an A and it kind of did a C out there, or a D. I'll give myself an A. Like it's more because that's what art is, or you're your own worst critic. Can't please everyone all the time. So it was a little bit, it's a little bit of both. If I had to weigh it, it'd be like 80-20, or maybe 70-30, 70 just what I feel and 30 what the world thinks.
that's brilliant.
Well,
Question.
I would say.
Okay, Derek.
I'll go first. I would say for mine, I'm not going to complain. I'm going to say to date, I would say an A minus because there's room for improvement. There's
Okay,
always room for improvement.
true.
And I think the final exam is still coming. So it could
Oh,
take me.
I agree. For
it
all
could
of us,
ta-
I
it
still
c-
feel like
It
the
could
final
take me
exam's coming.
down. I could go
This is
down.
just your parents are getting the report card, the little update, here's where you're at now.
I like if you
Little
look
Derek,
on the fact that
he's
I've
got
been
an A
able
minus.
to date to the point I've been able to financially support myself. I'm not living at home. No offense to people that are. Nothing wrong with that. But like
Half
it's
our audience, Derek. Don't.
probably, but I have been able to support myself. I've had great relationships with the places that I've worked. I To my knowledge, people liked working with me, so I think I'd have to give myself like an A minus, just because you
Okay,
can always do better. And I think the final exam's still to come. There's always more, and it could take me up or could take me down. So
take it down. You
that's
got
my
okay. So now you got to in post. You got to do your little A minus in chalk. All right, who's next?
I think. Oh God, that's an amazing question. I think I'd give myself a B. I give myself a B.
Okay.
I agree with
well, that
Derek.
makes sense. I'm smarter than you. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, well, smart. Yeah, for sure. I absolutely. Um, I think for me, like I'm super proud of the career that I've built, the relationship. I think for me, it's like the relationships that I have been able to build over the years. Like I'm always looking at that as what's more important than anything that I do and anything. Like the people around me are much smarter and better and more equipped at anything. Um, so if I were grading like on that, it would be an A plus because I love everybody that I've met in my career and I'm super proud to know and be blessed to be where I am and have met everybody that I have met and the super talented and amazing people. that I have surrounded myself with. I think for myself though, if like I said, like giving myself the B, because to Derek's point, like there is absolutely room for improvement and growth, and there's always things to be learning and exploring. And like that's the thing about grades. It's so interesting to me, like just now processing just in general how grades are done, because you're grading in a moment, but I feel like
Mm,
today so much is changing constantly. How is a
yes.
test even administered anymore for most things? Because it's like that might be the correct answer in that moment, but that answer might change so quickly because things change so quickly. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, I think I'll always be a B even at the final exam, and I'm fine.
Oh,
I think I'm fine
I don't think
being
you can say that though.
no, no.
No, it could be a C by the time you get there.
Yeah, well, okay, yes, okay,
No,
going
no,
down.
I'm saying you can't say you don't know. Like the
Yeah,
next I mean, you're young, like
yeah,
20, 25 years, you're not going to get to an A? Possible. Come on now.
yeah,
And give
yeah.
yourself some credit. You got a lot of exciting things going on.
There's a lot of
Derek could
things going
slip. You
on.
might pass Derek up.
Yeah, that.
Okay, so you were a B?
I would say a B. I would give
Solid
myself
B.
a B for sure. Yes.
Okay.
And Robert, you want to go
Mm.
last,
I'll
right?
go last. I'm used to going
I
last because of the Zappia thing in class.
um I can't it's I'm always very self-critical, but like the reflection of the last couple of minutes whilst you guys are grading yourself, as someone that didn't get that like graded as an adult, I can't complain. Like there'd have to be something really wrong to feel like I can't be proud of where I am, but there's no intention behind it. So definitely there's no plus to any of it. But I feel like achievements and to Mike's point, like being able to bring people into the industry and help them thrive and like navigate, especially being a woman in what we do, um, like that's something to be super proud of. That's I'll bump it up from the B for that. I would have gone straight in with a B otherwise, but um, yeah, just be even being able to be in this industry and like where we are, um, around the people we are at the time that we are and everything that's going on. I'm not normally one to self-promote, but I'm gonna say I've A'd this. I feel like an A
An
is
A.
a
Okay,
good
so you're
reflection
Derek.
of
A,
everything. Yeah.
A minus B.
I agree. Ruby deserves the A.
I agree.
Thanks, Mike.
Now I'm feeling a little.
F.
I'm going to tell you what. Well, I'm going to tell you what it was, and I'll tell you why. First of all, I'm much older than you guys, so there's been a lot more years to average.
Hmm.
So my grade is a C plus
Okay.
right
Oh,
now.
damn. Now I feel like I should have
No,
been
no,
honest
no,
about my
no,
self-criticism.
no, no. If you would have asked me in younger years, it would depend on the year. It would be an A plus. Some years it would. That's why it's the average. There's been D years. There's been an F year. There's been, I won't name the projects because I don't want to do that. But there's projects. Anyways, there's things that bring down the. I'm not grading myself on a curve. I'm just averaging out. Absolutely a lot of A times, some good B times, but there's definitely been those DNF times and experiences. So right now, still time. I'm going to C plus.
I feel like that's such a good way to see it. Like right now, I can't believe how optimistic I'm being. It must be because I'm looking at the sunshine outside, but like it's an A time. I think that's a good way
And
to
that's what's so great. But is
vocalize
it?
that.
See, what I think about asking, at least what it did for me, was like no matter what you grade yourself, it's either motivation. It just made me do a lot of introspective work
Yeah.
to say, oh, here's where I was at an A time in my life, and how it felt, and what I did, what I considered made it an A. Or here's a time with an F. Well, I'm not in the F times. You know, like right now, if it was just today, I'd say probably a B. But I know I can get to the A again. So yeah, it helps. I whatever. I wouldn't want to be in an F time, but like you're saying, you appreciate. Oh, you know what? I'm doing great. Like this is a good time, and I want to maintain that. Or
Yeah. It's
it's
also
average.
possibly peak time. Who knows? Like, I think this is part of
No,
it. This is part of this year, last year. Like, so much changing, so much out of control. Like, what can you focus on? Is just, are you a good human? Are you trying to do good things? Are
well,
you
this
around good
year,
people? Yeah,
I mean,
A
since
plus for
2020,
that for everyone else. I know it's it's been a
because I mean,
whirlwind the last few years.
through COVID, like to be even, we were lucky. I mean, I was lucky that I had worked through COVID, and so many people did. It was such a tough time.
Right. I think of that like the when you're saying it's like the phase of your life, how I have a lot of gratitude right now. I think that's a big reflection on the grading. So much to be grateful for and such
Yes.
a fortunate situation. And Derek, similar to what you were saying, right? There's what's not much to complain about, like
Yeah.
in
Oh,
the
there
bigger scheme of
is
things.
for me, Ruben.
I mean, we can complain about so
No,
I
I can't. Well,
like
you're the half full.
I'll
No, I get
complain.
it.
No, I'll complain all day, every
This is
day.
where Can We Be Frank was
Yeah,
born, because
especially
we're
if it's
always
a
frank.
rom-com. Lots of complaints.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Especially since you just recently shared with us, Robert, that your wife was shocked that you said that one day you'll go an entire day without complaining, and she
Oh, and she was game like too quickly.
yeah.
I was like, we agreed to this bet. Like her hand was out to shake mine before I got the word out. I haven't decided what day that will be. It will be on one of my A days when things are
Nice.
just great.
Or
But
just a day where you decide to stay in bed all day, maybe. I don't
maybe.
know.
Yes. Yes. Well, that was my question.
Yeah,
That was
great
That was a
question. Thanks.
A great
that was a
question.
really, really great question. Yeah, I'm still thinking about it. So it was a good one.
can't change your mind now. You gotta go. The grades are locked.
Yep.
For
They're
now.
locked in
I'll stick
for
with it.
now.
Let's check
We'll
in at the
revisit
end of the
next year.
season. We'll grade ourselves
Oh,
again.
that's a good way to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see where we are at the end.
All right. Well, thank you all for listening. And don't forget to like and subscribe on all the social media and check us out on YouTube, Spotify, Amazon, and Apple Podcasts, all the place you can consume our media. And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Can we be frank? Can we be frank? Can we be frank? Can we be frank? Can we be frank?
Hi, everyone, and welcome to Can We Be Frank, where the whiskey may be on ice, but the talk is always straight up. And I'll do the neat one, too, just in case I like it. Okay.
You got to keep all this in so people know what we
Absolutely.
go through
Every
before
time.
the actual episode
Agony.
starts.